I want to talk about, I guess a certain event that happened in 2018 in your life, man. For people who may be listening in,
Ah,
um, you have a white cane with you. Can you speak on, I
oh,
guess, can you speak on how your life changed in 2018? What happened?
well, so um, just to go back, uh, you know, wind back the hand of time. Of course, this cane signifies blindness, but I was exposed in blindness long time when I was in Cameroon. When I was young, somewhere around 5 years old, 6 years old, I had a friend called Fidelis, and we used to play together. And we had this game where hide and seek. A group of people will hide. One person will go around and look for them. Whoever you see, that person is going to be the one that will be going after everyone who is hiding. So at some point, Fidelis had all his sight. At some point, we realized that when we hide, he comes, he finds you. You would think that he has seen you, but he has not. He's still looking for you. So we started questioning, why is this guy doing this? Is it that he loves playing the part of seeking or what? But 2, 3 years after that, this guy went blind. And all the dreams I was saying before that we had this dream, he shared the same dream with us. And in those days, going blind was a big thing. You're off school. There was no support for blind people back in Africa. Many people will end on the street begging. And worst of all, when you go blind, a child in the family would not go to school because he had to take you around and care for you. So you see, old people who are blind, there's always a child. And most of the time it was a female child. So they don't use white candle like this to get a piece of wood. The child will be in front and holding the stick like this, the head of the stick, and maybe the other end of the stick. Whoever is blind will hold that part and you guide that person like that. And so you can't go to school, everything, school is finished for you. You have to just stay at home, take care of this person. So when my friend went blind, it was a big, big thing for us. But little did I know that at that age of about 5, when my friend went blind, that was somewhere around I would say 1980, maybe 80, 82, 83, somewhere there. um so to see that, since then blindness came to my life. Now I don't know. To me it seems like God gave me a lot of time. But what happened was this: I got up in the morning. I was working for Millwood Hospital in Arlington in Texas. So I got up in the morning. That was 24th of April 2018. That weekend was amazing. Went dancing with friends, had fun, came, slept, got up Sunday morning preparing to go to work, and then just realized that I had this massive headache. My head was behaving like it's just going to explode. So I called the workplace to say I can come. I have this headache. I need to go to the hospital because I was working in the hospital, but it's like 1 hour away. So I went straight uh, to the hospital in the neighborhood where I was living. Got some medication, got some attention, went back home. 2 days after, the headache did not subside. And I was worried because all my life I've never had anything like that. I mean, I slept well that night, got up, it was just like my head was going to explode. So I was giving medication, I came back, nothing happened. Then, when it was almost like 1 week, I went back again to the hospital. Now they decided to admit me and they said there was some pressure in my central nervous system. So they said they're going to perform lumbar punctures, which was basically meant I had to go into the spinal cord to pull out some cerebral spinal fluid. So I was admitted, they carried out that procedure, and I slept in the evening. That was, I think it was like 1st of April. No, 1st of May. Yeah. Slept, got up in the morning. That was 2nd of May. Man, places are dark. For me, I thought it was like maybe 4 in the morning, 5, somewhere there, a.m. But then I heard my sister walked in and she was like greeting me, Samy. And then I'm like, what are you doing here? She says, it's morning. I'm just passing to greet you and go to work. I say, what kind of money are you talking about? Then she says, what do you mean? I say, but places are dark. She says, no, places are not dark. Then she said, can't you see the light through the windows? So I turned to the window. I looked. There was no light. I said, no, there's no light. Then she said, can't you hear the cars moving? Then I heard the cars. I said, oh, wow, this car. That is when I had a clue that something is wrong. She came closer to me and said, can you see my hand? I said, no, I can't see it. She thought I'm joking, in fact. And so, because I play a lot with my sister. So anyway, she went and called the nurse. She came, checked, and said, oh, no, he cannot see. Oh, my God, this was the second confirmation now. The first one was when I checked the light. I didn't see it, so I started telling myself that like, something is wrong. Then this lady came in and said, no, he's blind. She's going to call for the doctor. She went, called the doctor. Doctor came and, checked my eyes, point the light into my eyes with the touch, and asked me to use the light as I can't see anything. And then he said, oh, no, he's blind. Wow. It was something for me. I was like, what happened? Anyway, I ended up in the hospital for 2 months. That 2 months in the hospital was terrible for me. It was not just the blindness that I was experiencing at this point in time. Of course, I lost appetite. I could not eat. So as a result, I lose weight. I could not walk. I mean, like I could not get myself out of the bed. No ways. Somebody had to take me out of the bed. It reached a point where I could not use the restroom. So I used the restroom directly on the bed. So I lost memory also, which I still suffered from that for a long time. I'm still just struggling to get back my memory, even up to now, 1 year something after. So my memory was not there. Then just towards when I was making 1 month in the hospital, because I spent a total of 2 months, just when I was getting to 1 month, I lose my speech. I could not talk. Wow, I knew that my day has come. But I'm kind of person who believe in God, and I told myself, well, it's okay, you know. Had my prayer, had my moments with myself, and spoke to God and asked for another opportunity. But it was not easy. So I was lucky that I had an amazing dance community. Some people didn't see me, so they started calling my phone. Of course, I didn't have a phone. Like I could not use my phone. My phone was not with me. So I don't even remember how they heard that I was in the hospital. So they came. I had 3 amazing friends who came to the hospital. Shout out to Shonda, to Stephanie James, and to Melanie Reed. These were awesome friends. They were always behind me. Everything I did in the community, helping me with dance and stuff. So they came every day. They were in the hospital, like every day. And then, so I was not responding to treatment. And so they had to move me to another hospital. I got to that hospital, life was really ending for me. Those people were worried at the hospital. They gave me all sort of treatment. Nothing is changing. And I would just lie on the bed. Sometimes they would come, they say, Sammy, you have to sit upright, because I've been lying on the bed for long. And sitting upright for like 3 minutes was like I've been sitting there for 1 year. I just wanted to lay back on the bed. And I remember crying and pleading with the the caregivers were in the hospital that I want to lay. They said, no, you have to sit for like 5 minutes. Oh my God. I was just like, no ways. But God gave me another chance. I started recovering. Then they said they had to do some surgeries in my eyes. They took me to the theater and did some surgery in my eyes. I don't know, whatever. It was like I don't know how many hours, maybe 4 hours or 5 hours procedure. I got up. I could just feel, I didn't know where I was. But I felt like there was dust in my eyes. And I asked the guy, what is happening? I feel like there's dust or some objects in my eyes. Then he said, no, 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 no. We had to take out your eyes to do some work and check and create some room so that they can decrease the pressure and stuff. And you'll be fine. So I was just sitting there like, oh my God, I can't believe these guys went into my eyes. What is happening with my life? So, okay, but I was hoping that that will change everything, that maybe my sight is going to come. So, took me back to my room. I was there for a couple of weeks, nothing happened. And then, but good enough, I started gaining some weight. I started being able to get down the bed and you know walk like 5 steps or so back to my bed, but I didn't walk alone. They had to hold me. Then when it reached a point that I could take some few steps on my own, even though I didn't have balance, I was struggling, and they thought I could go home. So I went back home. Yeah, and I was in home for maybe I think like 6 months or so, or more. Yeah. So I went home. There was no dancing happening. Just chilling at home. But it was not easy because I lose my memory. So even understanding the house again was a big problem for me. I would sit, if I get up to use the restroom, most of the time I didn't know where is the restroom. So I would go around the wall, just trace the wall and then find the doors and check if this is the restroom door, stuff like that. So life was just so difficult. And just getting myself to my room was not easy. I remember there was a day that I went to the restroom from my room. I just went into the restroom and just to find the door to open the restroom and just go back into my room. My room is the immediate room to the restroom. Man, I looked for the door till today. I don't understand how I did not find the door. I looked for the door in a small restroom. I could not find it. And I had to wake people up who were sleeping. That was maybe around 2 a.m. in the morning. And I just started shouting in the room and calling, calling. They came there and said, Sammy, this is the door. Oh my God. Wow. So it has not been easy, but with support from the dance community, people came to visit me, people called, and I'm so grateful. I had support from even some dance partners I've had. Marty Grant was very um, concerned. She visited me home, giving support. People in the dance community calling, had a GoFundMe set up, which people contributed money. Thank you, everyone, in fact, who is listening and who contributed, even those who didn't contribute, just thinking about me, praying for me, calling me. It was really helpful. So a lot of money was contributed for me, dance community, and all over, not just in Dallas, it was all over the US, in Canada. The people send money from Europe, all over. And Shika J too, One Keys did a marvelous gesture. She got money raised through tickets she sold for One Keys event, and all that money was directed to me. I'm grateful there was money, but I'm much more grateful that there were people around me. So connecting with people is really important. Dance community is also very important. When we just dance in the community and we don't really connect with people and just contribute in any little way we can, sometimes it's not good. There's just so many ways we can always contribute. Just meeting somebody, checking, talking to that person, go to social, support other people, go to events, practice, just have good vibe, because you never know when your life will turn around. Nobody would have believed, myself, I didn't believe that one day I will have a cane that I carry with me every day. But this cane has strengthened me. So when I recovered, I was at home. I had to go to Crisco in Austin for kind of rehabilitation for blind people. And the counselor who came home to see me encouraged me to go. He just told me, Sammy, now you're a blind man. You have to know that this is a new identity and you have to take it running, carry it and go. So I took that advice. I believe, God has a reason for me being blind. I also believe that, God will restore my sight. But if it is the will of God that He doesn't restore it, it's okay. It's life. I just have to leave it. I'm happy with it. I will leave it. I'll live with the life. So I spent some time in Austin and back, and it's just been wonderful. Receive support in the dance community in Austin. Arturo, DJ Arturo from Austin. You had Alex and um, Sarita. Just the community is amazing. Charles O'Girl gave me a lot of support there, and he came home when I just left the hospital. It was a big surprise for me. There was an event going on in Dallas, and he was there. And I knew, I'd looked at the program. I knew that he was teaching in that event in Dallas at that time. And then information just came that, oh no, they've changed the program and stuff. So, wow. To uh, 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 another time, they changed the time slot, move it forward. And that information came to me, and I thought, oh wow, so that class, because what I was doing is I had somebody to attend the workshop and just call me on the phone. I just listened. I wanted that love for Kizomba, just to feel. I just listen to what is happening, listen to people dance, the instructor, giving a lesson and stuff. So Charles was teaching, and all of a sudden I was sitting in the house, and they just came to me and say, hey, there's somebody who wants to see. I'm like, who? Say Charles Oga. I'm like, but Charles is in an event teaching. Is this guy sure it's Charles? And he came in and hey, Sammy. I was like, wow. So yeah, I had surprises like that that really motivated me, gave me hope to keep moving forward. Yeah. So in a nutshell, that is what happened.
I
I
understand.
understand.
And that's
That's
actually a
actually very.
very tough experience, Sammy, that you have to go through, man. That is very tough, man.
Yeah. Mhm.
I'm curious, were the doctors able to ever tell you, what happened, what caused all this?
Yes. In fact, they told me that there was meningitis infection, and it was kind of surprise to me because I don't know where I would have gotten meningitis from, even living in Europe or here. I don't know. And so, well, they told me that that is what caused, like I was saying before, it was not just the blindness that came my way, there were just so many things because my balance, even though I dance a lot now, but I struggle with my balance. I'm practicing almost every day, trying to work on balance techniques and stuff. These are things that I used to teach people and used to be like, hey man, this is how you have to work on your balance and stuff. I didn't know that one day it would be something I will be doing every day, like an exercise just to to get my balance. So thank God that I was teaching before, and so I learned some techniques on how to work on balance. So now I'm applying those things to my life. But also I lose hearing. My what is this? My if you see, I have a hearing aid right here. So this year I lose about 82% of my hearing. I lost 82% here. I lost, I think it was 4% the side, so I still have about 96, somewhere there like that. And so yeah, it's been It's been a tough journey, but life
Yeah.
life just have to continue. Yeah.
Um. Yeah, that's super tough, Sam. Let me ask you this, man. And you've kind of already spoke on it, man. But let me ask you, I guess going back to when all this initially happened back in 2018, can you can you tell me what kept you going, and can you maybe word this in a way that could be of advice to someone who is currently going through some tough times themselves? How were you able to persevere such a hard time in your life and keep going and not give up?
Well, well, yeah. I mean, it's been really difficult. It's been really difficult. First of all, the support is very important. You can't walk this kind of a journey alone. You walk it with people. So meaning that you cannot isolate yourself even because they say that you're blind and sit in your room and confine yourself, and then the stress is just going to kill you down. So you have to really go out, and I found myself going out, connecting again with the people and try to just enjoy my life. But also not just that support, the mindset is extremely important. You can make or destroy yourself. It's about the mind. One have to just understand that being blind, being disabled, any form of disability is not the end of life. Any form of disability, that is not the end of life. So long as you can breathe, for me, so long as you can breathe, you can achieve almost everything that you aspire to achieve. And so I just have the mindset, because the mind is a very powerful tool. If you tell negative things to your mind, you have negative ideas, negative thought in the mind is going to process those things, multiply them, and just keep it in you, and everything will be negative, and you start attracting negative things from the environment, in the universe, and your life is just going to rust. It's not even just going to wear, it's going to rust down and you finish. So what I try to do is not to have negative things in my mind going on in my mind. Always to have positive ideas, aspire for greater things, still dream, still have vision for the things I want to do, and just believe that, I can do this thing. Blindness cannot stop me. I can do anything I want to do. You know, I believe that is that attitude, because even with a disability and a positive attitude is much better with somebody who is not disabled but have a very bad attitude. So for me, it's about the attitude. I've really tried to work to have a positive spirit and to know that it doesn't matter whether you have sight or you don't have sight. The truth is that one day we will all leave this earth. And that day, we cannot do anything about it. So we just have to enjoy as much as possible. So,
I understand that. I
right,
definitely understand that, Sammy. Um, let me ask you this one. I'm very curious to hear, man.
right.
Um, after such a tragic event, man, I'm very curious to hear. How did your dancing style change at all? Was there any noticeable differences in, I guess, the way you hear music, the way you interpret music, the way you connect with your partner, the way you dance? Has anything changed for you since that happened?
Yes, it has changed. So the first change that I noticed was that, well, of course, blind. I can't see, right? So I had to always keep my partner close and be connected to my partner so that I can tell where she is at any time, or he is, because sometimes we think of partners being the follow being only a female is wrong. It can be even the lead, the follow can be a guy or a lady. So whoever is playing the role as follow. I keep that connection. I get closer just to know exactly the weight shift and the position of my partner. But also, I realized that when I kept that closeness, I create more connections than I used to before. There was more space between me and my partner, but this time the space is reduced for two reasons: to create that connection, but also because when I get close, then I have some balance. I have some, I don't rely on her much for support, like, oh, no, no. But just the fact that I have that frame and close to her, I don't need to worry too much in my balance. I can still dance. And so I begin to feel the music more than I did before. I really feel it more. I still do some moves that, technical moves, I'm able to still do them, but I do them with a lot of technique. I keep my partner connected and I execute those moves. But before, when I had my side, I could do a move and I don't really stay connected to the person sometimes because you can see a partner, your partner is here and stuff, but this time you don't see her, so you want to know everywhere she is. And so my dance has changed in that regard. I'm beginning to pay more attention to the music. Even though I have a deficiency in this ear, of course, the hearing aid is helping me. When I go to dance, if I know that it's going to be music, I control the hearing aid, I change it to music. So it picks the music very well. It's almost like I don't have any hearing issue. So, but if I forget it on something like outdoor or restaurant or whatever, then I'll have issues to to uh, to hear the music. So my dancing has really changed. I'm more connected to the partner. I feel the music more. I express the music better, and because I express it, I'm also able to kind of express the emotions that I feel in my body, the emotions that I feel with the music, and just feel good. Yeah.
Now, I definitely understand that. Let me let me ask you this then real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So you were speaking on music.
Right.
When I say the word musicality, what does that mean to you?
Wow, man, this is a very, very big stuff. Musicality is huge, huge, huge. For me, I'll see it as just as a dancer. Musicality is broad, could be just artists producing music and stuff, but as a dancer, it means everything. It means to embody the music, to represent that music in my body. You've got a painter, he goes to work, takes the brush and gets the paint, and that is his tool, the brush, and he paints the wall. My own tool is my body. I want to use that body to do the work, to dance, to feel the music and represent the music in my body. And when I say representing it, it's like understanding everything with the music, understand the music structure, understand the different rhythms in the music, the different, the colors in the music, and really just reflect every beat. But it's much deeper. You don't want to just dance on every sound that you hear in the music. You have to be selective. Know what you're dancing on, and you can switch between different instruments. You can dance on the lyrics and stuff. They're just huge. So, but just representing the music in my body is awesome. And sometimes I had a student was like, what what do you make of who is actually a great musical dancer? One of my students used to ask me this because he really wants to improve, and I was telling him that to be musical for me, it's not just only reflecting the music in your body and respecting the music. It's much more than that. It's even dancing without the music. And he was like, what? What do you mean? I'm like, no. You can be very musical without the music. And he was like, no, how can this possible? And it is very possible. If you dance without the music, there are a lot of things that somebody watching you dance and that person decide to be counting and following. That person should be seeing you, your energy changing according to certain steps in the dance. Maybe on one, the energy is kind of big. You see your reflection in your body, the energy will be much bigger than when you're dancing on a beat. Maybe, I don't know, uh, three, four, or whatever. And also, you can see the structure of the music in the person's body. The way you move your body, you are phrasing the music in your body. You move your body according to the phrase. You can see your body moving in a particular way. And you can see you reflecting cadence in the music, like you can stop moving and soon you move again. All the structures can be reflected in the body. The way the different timing that you're dancing, even though there's no music, but you are displaying different timing in your movement. All of this thing is musicality. And so musicality is big. It's even bigger when you dance without music because somebody can just watch you dance and say that this person is dancing urban kiss music, or this person is dancing kizomba, or this person is dancing zouk, because you are being musical the way you're dancing. It can tell what kind of style or what kind of uh, genre of music you're dancing. So for me, it's about reflecting music in your body and also reflecting music without music, but it
Okay.
means everything.
It does. Musicality is very, very important. It's also, I guess how you differentiate yourself from different dancers, different people.
Right.
Let me ask you. You spoke on all of that, man. I don't know if you said this, but how does one improve their musicality?
Wow, great question, man. So I personally feel that to understand musicality, you have to first of all go back to the history of samba, understand the changes that have happened in the music, understand the different rhythms, how things were mixed, and what we have now in the case of urban keys, right? Everything started down there in samba and up Kizomba and then ghetto zouk and then so it's good to understand the different genres so that if this kind of music ghetto zouk is playing, this is ghetto zouk. It is Kizomba, it's samba. If it is zouk, you know there should be changes in your dance that reflect that kind of dance. So now if you know how to do this, which is just practice, understand the different music. They all differ, understand them, and then now take the one you really love. What I like to tell students is that you understand the song structures, you take the music, you first just listen to the music as many times as possible. Maybe driving to work, play that music, just listen to it, make it your friend. Then you begin to understand the music. You begin to predict things that are going to happen, events happening in that music. You feel it. Oh, this thing is happening here, and it comes because you listen to it, but you take it a notch up. So what happens is you take the music, you can isolate the different instruments in the music, even the vocal, isolate everything. Take one instrument, listen to it from the beginning to the end, go through the different instruments, and then for each, when it's playing, that only the instrument is playing, you dance, but try to reflect in your body whatever you hear. That percussion that you hear, you try to reflect that. When you do that in the different elements, then you put everything together and dance to it again. But now choose whatever you want. You don't do everything the same time. So that way, with repetition over and over and over and over, you really become a good musical dancer. And you have to understand that there has to be variety. You don't dance on everything. You have to choose each time. Pick something and reflect it. Don't just be all over the place dancing on this, do this, and it just looks stupid, So you practice to switch from one to the other and give time. Always come back to the baseline, follow the tempo, that kind of the bass. Then from the tempo you switch, go into an instrument and do something and come back, move again with your tempo, play with timing and go back to your favorite instrument, just like that. I think that way keeps that practice, you're really going to improve your dancing. So it's all about just practice. Yeah.
Sure enough, and that makes a lot of sense.
Right.
Isolating each instrument, just
Right.
trying to dance to it. I want to ask you maybe like a couple more questions if I can, Sammy.
Right.
Let me ask you this, man. Yeah, I guess in your opinion, man, tell me this. What makes for a good follow? Can you tell me that?
Woo. Another big question, man. So yeah, it's a huge area of discussion in dance, a good follow. And it is way bigger than the scope of this podcast. I mean, the time frame, and because it's a huge thing, we can talk for the whole day. But I'll just make it very short, to say that a good follow for me is someone who, first of all, understand that dancing is teamwork, that you have a lead, you have a follow, we have our roles to play. But then it should be somebody who keeps the connection and understand that the leader will always pre-lead before executing the move that leader will lead. There are certain things that happen before a move comes into play, for executing the move. The leader will create some tension and then kind of lift his hands a little bit up, a little bit of tension and up, then you give direction. So that can be very, very soft, very subtle. And therefore, a good follow should be one that can pick up this change, because that is giving you a kind of some indication that something is coming. And so a good follow should pay attention to that and use that connection and follow the direction. It should be very patient to understand where the 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 the, um, the leading is taking her to what direction. Because what happens is sometimes you start a move, you start leading the move, and the follow immediately start going in directions, the back leading and stuff. He has to be very patient to get all the cues and then believe in the direction and execute. It is also somebody who also find independence in the dance. You don't want to just keep following the whole time in the dance. Yes, you can be good at just getting the direction and everything, but you take your dancing one level above, which meaning that you have your balance, you create your independence in the dance. Independence in that you are able to do things in the dance which it's you making the decision. It's not the lead saying that do this and that, leading you into that. So you find your independence and express your own self in the dance. Because the whole time you're dancing, the lead is guiding you, moving here and there and executing move. That lead is expressing himself. And so that way, you are not expressing yourself as a follower. You have to gain that freedom, that independence to say, even though I'm following this person, I should be able to add, contribute something in this dance, do something. But the important thing is that it should not be interruptive. It should not interrupt the lead. Do your own thing in the dance and not interrupt. So when I dance with somebody and I see the person playing within the dance and still follow me, I'm just extremely happy. There's just a lot of other things, that we cannot go into. But I think somebody who is very perseverant, who allows the lead to actually lead, is not back leading, gains independence in the dance, be able to express herself in the dance, is able to, to keep an eye what's happening around the environment. If the lead is walking backward, she doesn't just forget, she's checking, because if we are moving in her direction, I will be checking. Of course, now I can't check, so she has to check everything. By the way, yeah. So yeah, so there's just a lot. A lady that knows her technique, everything. It's a lot. She knows her technique, and then can find independence in the dance. But above all, respect the 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 the, the cues that the lead is giving. Those cues can be physical contact, and it could just be non-physical. It could just be by just looking at her. It can just be motions in the body. I can leave her and not connected with her physically, but she still follows. It doesn't mean that following there must be that physical connection. There might still not be any physical connection, but she must read my body and respond accordingly. So it's huge. It's a lot of stuff. Yeah, which we
Yeah, it
can
is.
hear now. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand. There's probably so many things you could speak on. Um, Let me ask you this real quick, Sammy.
Right.
For someone who is a student of Kizomba, or someone who wants to become a student of it, um, what qualities does an effective teacher have, or what makes for an effective teacher?
Mm, wow. Tough one. Huh? So, first of all, the students should first of all be sure of what the student wants to learn, research on it, be sure to say this is the kind of, even if you don't know whether it's urban keys or kizomba, these days we have a lot of videos, right? So this is what I want. Oh, I love this is what. Then you ask other people what kind of dance is this, identify the teacher, go there, but also find out more information about the teacher. Try to know, I mean, who did this person learn from? Is that teacher taking classes? It's important, because we are instructor doesn't mean that we don't take classes. I take classes. I have friends who, when I was sick, they came up, and gave me some private classes like Audie, MPK, Pamela, Charles, Shika, a lot of other instructors that I took private classes with them, sort of guiding me. And so instructors have to always take classes to upgrade, to learn new things that are happening, go to festivals. So you want to learn from somebody who is also learning all the time, improving, but also somebody who is very good to teach, because a teacher, not all teachers are great dancers. I say this, you can see somebody dancing where it's a teacher and you think, oh my God, I want to learn from that teacher. And you go there and you don't get anything, because that great dancer who is a teacher is not actually a good teacher, cannot transmit the knowledge. So somebody who understands how to transmit the knowledge. And it's not just teaching is a big thing, psychology of the student. It's somebody who can just look at you and understand your state of mind and know that I don't need to stress the student with this. This is the limit of the student. I have to break things like this and give it in a way that the student can easily master. So it has to be somebody that can read your mind and know how to transmit the knowledge, break the complex figures into simple steps, and get the student to master the technique so that it's easy to assimilate the knowledge that you're giving the student. So a teacher that can create a very good understanding of the class, good environment, make sure people are safe, a teacher that even keeps contact after the class. Sometimes you want to encourage your students, let's go for socials, and encourage even your students to go learn from other people. I used to tell some of my students, don't stick with me for too long. You have to get variety, go learn from another person, go to socials. So teacher has to be open to say that I cannot give you everything. There are some things that I'm not so good at. Go learn this thing from this person. Go, it has to be that kind of person who has an open mind But most importantly, you just have to know how to give the knowledge to the student in a way that is understandable. And one thing I discovered when I went blind was that many teachers, the way we teach, the teaching is more geared for people who have sight. So almost all teachers I know, even myself, when I was teaching, when I was blind, it was more about, let's take for example, cider. A cider. You say, okay, we're having a cider and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Now, if you ask all students to cover their eyes and we say cider and we execute it again and ask which cider, maybe this time they cover their eyes and you do, instead of the lead cider, you do the follow cider and you ask them, which one did I do? People will be divided in the class. So if you did the first time, everybody had the sight to see. Second time, they cover the eyes and they cannot see what you're doing. And maybe the second time you did a follow side and you say, which side did I just do? People will say it was the first one, the lead sider. Because why? We just teach by saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Instead of saying you paint the picture, you stand in front of the follow and you step. So there's a lane, central lane, that the lead and the follow are standing on that lane. But while the follow is stepping backward with her right leg, the lead step forward with the left leg on the side. So it is a side step, but going forward, it's kind of diagonal. And then you explain the left leg moves like that, the right leg moves straight forward on a separate lane. Now you're out of the central lane and you paint the picture like that in terms of which leg is moving where in relation to the central lane. That way, if somebody is not seeing what you're saying, the person can kind of visualize to say, okay, I understand what he's saying. So teachers that makes dancing accessible is great teacher.
I understand that. I definitely understand that. I want to ask you, I guess, one more question, Sammy. Final question
Right.
for you, man. Um, what are some lessons that you learned from dancing that you're able to translate to your everyday life?
Wow. Okay. So dancing has taught me a lot. First of all, to be patient. You have to be very relaxed and very patient to understand that we are all different. We have different body, different mentality, different chemistry. Everything happening with us is different. We are not the same. Everybody is unique and different. And so because of that difference, we need to tolerate other people's faults. We need to understand when some people are lacking to move on beat or whatever, and just understand that it is a dance. We have to appreciate that moment. So we have to be very patient, very tolerant. It's happening in the dance. I've danced with a lot of new people. Even some people have been dancing for like 2, 3 years and they make some mistakes and stuff. But I just understand that we are all different. We are different stress in the environment. So I just try to create a good moment. So I have to be patient, very understanding, but it's also taught me to communicate because I pay a lot of attention listening to the follow, trying to understand what is this follow doing, how is she expressing the music. So I pay a lot of attention. I try to use my connection points to really tap into what the follow is doing. That has helped me a lot in using my blind cane. This is called the white cane, not the blind cane, in fact. The white cane. So I listened to my white cane a lot. When I got this cane, I'd never used it all my life. So when I got this cane, I did not really know how to use it. Dancing helped me a lot because when I got this cane, I was walking. There's an object in front of me, right? The cane hits that object. I was not listening to my cane. I was still in the mentality of walking with my side. So it hit an object and I don't listen to the cane and I walk straight into that object and I bump. into that object. So I started to pay attention to the cane. And the cane has got a bass here. Oh my God, let me see if I can show you this. This bass. Bass creates some sound when it taps or when it hits the floor. So I don't just listen to the vibration in the cane, but I listen also to the sounds because it tells me about the environment. It tells me if there's space or not. How much space do I have? It tells me the texture of the surface I'm moving on. Is it smooth? Is it rough? Is it weight? All those kind of things. But it's because I've learned from dance to listen to the music, and so I listen to that sound. To listening from my partner, I listen to cane when I move. So it has really helped me. Above all, it's built my confidence too. Dance has really built my confidence because I kind of understand people. I've done a lot of move. I've understood my body. I know the limitations. Even though sometimes I get out of my comfort zone, I try to determine what my body can do and what my body cannot do. And that way I've gained confidence because I understand myself. And so dancing has really, really changed who I am. It's helped me to communicate. Sometimes I dance with some follow, they start moving, doing their own stuff, right? I take it like that is them leading, even though they're thinking I'm leading. But I'm eventually just following them. They're doing some stuff. I'm kind of following, but they are the ones leading. I'm following, but they think I'm leading. So it's taught me to be patient and to listen and respond to people in a positive way. Nah.
Hey, hey. Nah, I definitely understand that, Sammy. I definitely do.
Yes. Yeah.
At this point, Sammy, I really just want to, thank you for taking time today to talk to me, man.
Yeah, bro. Thank you so much. I really appreciate what you're doing. This is amazing, man. This is really amazing. I was wondering how did he find me? He just contacted me on Facebook. I was like, wow, who is this person? Then I checked and then I saw your podcast. I was like, wow, okay. It took me some time, because I was still mastering how to use my technology and stuff. So it took me some time to reach out to you. But I was wondering, how did you get to know me? How did you find out about me?
Okay. I found you through, I'm pretty sure Instagram or Facebook, man.
Oh,
I saw
yeah.
some video. I saw some videos of you dance, man. I thought you were an incredible dancer, so I had to have you on the show, man.
Right. No, also, I'm grateful that, I've shared my story. I'm hoping that I have some lessons in the story that can really help other people who are going through similar challenges in their life, and that dancing can really take us from point A to point B being a very better and secured position than point A. So, yeah, people can always contact me on Facebook, Samy Vez, Facebook, Kizomba page is Saka Kizomba, and then Twitter, Saka Kizomba, Facebook, Saka Kizomba, Instagram, Saka Kizomba. And I teach classes on Friday at Upper Midway Dance Studio in Addison, Dallas, Texas. Fridays from 8 o'clock to 9. First Friday of the month, we have Amanki's socials where we play Kizomba as well, play some Afro music from Nigeria, from Kenya, all over Africa, and sometimes, some music around the US, of course. And yeah, on the second, not second, on the 7th of February, on Friday, we have Sensual Kizomba for Valentine's uh, Day celebration. People can check out this event on Eventbrite. Sensual Kizomba for Valentine Day 2020 .eventbrite.com for tickets. So yeah, we'll be having a lot of fun. Yeah,
That
bro.
sounds amazing. Yeah, sounds
Yeah.
amazing, man.
Thank you.
So you already talked about how people can contact you. I will make sure I put all your contact information in the details below. I got you on that.
Right, right,
Def,
right.
def,
Well, I
yeah.
really appreciate this. Thank you so much.
Of course, man. So real quick, Sammy, let me ask you this, man, before we close this out, man.
Right.
Like I said, thank you so much, man. But any last words you want to share with the people before we close this out?
Well, to say that I understand that, we live in a world that everything is not the way we want, but that if we put out positive energy out there, that positive energy will attract positive thing to us. And so we should just try to be positive and just laugh as much as we can and just to dance and not blame people whether you dance in urban keys or you dance in kizomba, and whether urban keys is kizomba or is not or what. All those things is important but not necessary. We have to just enjoy this life and respect each other, respect the different cultures, kizomba, urban keys, and just have fun. The thing is really just to have fun and just know that we cannot live in isolation. We can always live with people and just have a good time in our life. Yeah. Well,
I
thank you,
think,
bro.
yeah, I think that is a great
Yeah.
way to wrap up this episode of Two Feet Podcast.
Thank you. Thank you, man. I'm so grateful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's all it is. Hey everyone! If you made it this far to all to the end of the video, I want to thank you so much. Um, my overall goal with making these interviews and these episodes is to give a voice to dancers. To give them a platform to speak their story. So, if this is of value to anyone, then that means the world to me. My overall goal is to give value to the dance community. So, if you find no value in this, then I urge you to please let me know where I can improve on. I truly want to, just give value and content to the dance community. So please let me know how I can improve, where I'm messing up, because to be 100% honest with you, I'm learning along the way as I do this. I truly am. So to be able to interact with the dance community, it means the world to me because it gives me feedback and it lets me know what I'm doing right, where I can improve upon. What I'm doing wrong, which I feel like might maybe more important. So please, if you all could comment and just let me know what you think, it means the world to me because that feedback just helps me improve. So um, please comment as well. Please like and subscribe. That means a lot as well. But I want to say thank you so much for just watching this because it means the world to me. I want to take you on this journey of the Two Left Feet podcast. I'm very excited for it. So, once again, thank you so much.